dated 7th of November 2023 and signed by Mr. Emmanuel Ubeje, the Chief Press Secretary to the government. The Etuboms, as Etuboms and custodian of the Efiok culture and traditions, we have taken time to digest the said press release and find it pertinent to set the record straight and make our position known. So, evidence of the Efiok culture, and traditions, we have taken time to digest the said press of the Efiok culture and traditions. We have taken time to digest the said press release and find it pertinent to set the record straight and make our position known. Our motivation in making this statement, therefore, is not born out of an obsession by a of the Obong of Calabar. On the contrary, we are motivated by a need to ensure that justice prevails and real institutions are protected. In appraising the said press release, we cannot but note that the emphasis therein is in conveying the personal views of His Excellency Governor Bassey to. Indeed, the statement indicates that the Governor has undertaken a judicial review of the State High Court and Supreme Court rulings, as well as the Constitution of the Okom's Palace, and interferes with the royal fathers. Not being aware of any panel of judicial or administrative review, not having been invited to appear or testify before any such body, and as such, bracket, open and close, of the press release, the Governor refers to quote, the State High Court judgment of September 25th, 2022, and its binding effect on all parties, and further demands that all parties must ensure the implementation of the judgment cited in 3 above to the letter. The same judgment was actually dated 29 September 2022. It was in suit number HC/133/2019 between 1. His Royal Highness Etim Micah Archibong the 5th, the 6th. 2. Chief Ekpenyong of Ironbar. 3. Prince Ekpenyong Archibong. For themselves and as representing Central Calabar Traditional Rulers Council. And 1. His Royal Highness Etubom Bassey of Bassey Duke, OB Duke, Chairman of the Etubom Traditional Council, Palace of the Obong of Calabar. 2. Etim Ekpo, Archibong, Secretary, Etubom Traditional Rulers Council. 3. Etubom Utuefa Utu, Chairman, Western Calabar Traditional Council. 4. Agite Bassey. This case has no relevance in the matter with the Supreme Court of Nigerian judgment, delivered on 13 January 2023, except to the fact that the 4 respondents contemptuously disobeyed the orders of Honorable Justice Upai Edidem by voting in the so-called selection of Etubom Ekpo Abasi 2 as Obong of Calabar on the 18th of January 2023. In reality, the judgment of the High Court by Honorable Justice Obojo Oga on the 30th of January 2012, setting aside the selection and subsequent crowning of the Etubom Abasi 2 has been confirmed by both the Appellate Court and Supreme Court. We categorically state that there is absolutely no state high court judgment delivered on this subject matter on the 25th of September 2022. An error such as this is a natural consequence of the independent review embarked by His Excellency. We refuse to be drawn into the tempting impression that His Excellency, the Governor, being from the same Efiok family of Adiabo Principality as Etubom Abasi 2, has anything to do with His Excellency conclusion. But this again goes to emphasize how unsafe it was for our government to embark upon this journey unassisted. The Supreme Court judgment. I and others seated here are named parties to the State Supreme Court of Nigerian judgment in case number Essien 633 to 2013 between the following persons and parties. 1. The Etubom Dr. Anthony Asupo Amin. 2. Etim Okom. 3. Chief Efiok. Chief of Young of Young. 4. Chief Emmanuel Enyang of Young. 5. Anthony Enyang of Young. For themselves and on behalf of the Okom clan, Biabo, Ekpenyong, the local government area, and Etubom Abasi 2, Etubom Utuefa 2, for themselves and representing the Essien Traditional Council, and 3. Etubom Essien 4. Etubom Asukwo. 5. Etubom Micah Archibong. Those are representing Etubom's traditional last council among Obong's parties. The same persons and parties are also in case number SC 634/2013 as stated above. Be this as it may, we wish to point out that the Supreme Court of Nigerian judgment of 13 January 2013 set aside the selection of Etuboms and Okom Abasi as Obong of Calabar on the 31st of March 2008. This means that from 31st March 2008 to date, there is and has been no Obong of Calabar, as we are still in the selection process. The same judgment directed that the selection process be conducted afresh. The selection process can only be carried out by those who were in the Etuboms Council at that time and should be carried out according to the Constitution of the Etuboms Traditional Council 2002. There are only 7 of us alive as of the time of the State Supreme Court judgment. Without fully appreciating the import of the State Supreme Court judgment, the Etuboms who were not qualified to vote as at 31st March 2008 and who had been capped but an impostor hurriedly came together and purported Etubom and Okom Abasi on January 18, 2023. This again was an avoidable and unnecessary fundamental flaw. Pronouncement in case SC 633/2013, page 239, paragraphs 1, 2, and 3 read as follows. Good. As the Court of Appeal asked, in these circumstances, can the two sets of respondents in good conscience claim and maintain that the first appellant was afforded a fair hearing, or that the selection process which ended in the proclamation of the first respondent as Obong of Calabar did not reach the essential requirement of natural justice? The answer is that they cannot. It is for this reason that I wholeheartedly agree with the Court of Appeal that the selection and proclamation of the first respondent as Okom elect on 31st/3/2008 must be set aside. I think that was view that the justice of the case The judges of this case demand that the Western Calabar Traditional Council, which was mandated to select an Etubom from amongst themselves, who shall be the new Obong, should go back to the drawing board and start the process on a clean slate. This is because the way and manner in which the first respondent was selected and proclaimed the Obong of Calabar polluted the selection process, or should I say, muddied the water, so that there is no clear view of when and where to say this far and no more in the process of selecting the next Obong of Calabar. In the circumstances, the best way to go is for the Western Council to conduct another process to select an Etubom who shall be the new Obong of Calabar. Case number SC 634/2018 with same parties as case number SC 633/2013 quoted above as pronouncement in page 36, paragraph 1 and 2, which states, I quote, "Without doubt, the first appellant, as the Court of Appeals held, was not afforded a fair hearing in the selection process conducted by Western Calabar, the Western Council, whose chairman turned himself not only into a candidate forcibly, but was also spuriously screened by the council, which surreptitiously recommended him as the sole candidate suitable for the appointment and proclamation as Obong of Calabar. In a report that was sent to the Etubom's Council of the Obong's Palace, which in turn refused to hear the fourth respondent. Thus, I agree that the selection and proclamation of the full respondents at the Obong of Calabar 31/3/2008 must be set aside. Unquote. That is from the Appeal Court. The above goes down and agrees with the judgment of SC 633/2013. It is pertinent to note that when the High Court presided over by Honorable Justice Oga gave his judgment in this matter in 2012, I was brought back as chairman of Etubom's Traditional Council, Rulers Council, to preside over a fresh selection process. We selected Etubom, Okom, Abasi, the two. When the appeal court decided by Justice Lawal Garba, Jesse gave his verdict on the same case matter on 2013, and set aside the selection and proclamation of Etubom Ekpo Abasi II, as was the case in the High Court. I was once again brought back as the chairman of the Etuboms Traditional Rights Council to conduct a fresh selection exercise as ordered by the appellate court. It is only right and proper that after the Supreme Court had given its judgment, I and other named parties should be rightful persons to conduct a fresh selection process, as was the case in 2012-2013. But this time around, using the 2002 Constitution, and in strict adherence and compliance to other guidelines stipulated in the Supreme Court judgment. This is what we have done. And we state clearly that any person any other selection exercise carried out by persons unknown to the Supreme Court judgment is a fraud. Indictment of Etuboms Ekpo Abasi II. Having indicted Etubom Abasi II in both the Supreme Court judgment and as clearly seen above, can it be said that he is still qualified to be Obong of Calabar when the conditions of eligibility selecting an Obong in the 2002 Constitution of the Etuboms Traditional Rights Council, section 24, item 3, clearly state that a candidate for the position of Okom must be of reputable character. Another important issue most people have not understood is the issue of waiver. In case number SC 633/2013, it was held by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, on page 24, paragraph 1. Quote, however, as the two sets of respondents submitted and that this would, in my view, however, as the two sets of respondents submitted and rightly so, in my view, even if requirement of qualifications to view for the said office could be waived, the Western Calabar was not the Western Council was not in position to waive the requirements. Also, SC 634/2013, page 15, paragraph 1, lines 31 to 34. Quote, as a provision of the Constitution of the Royal Court of the Obong of Calabar, even if it can be waived in law, the waiver must be by the Etuboms Council of the Obong Palace, who may have the authority over it. Unquote. Very equivalent to the Traditional Rulers Council, wrote to the Etuboms Traditional Rulers Council on 19th May 2023, and is read in part as follows. Quote, we most respectfully request that the Etuboms Traditional Rulers Council, as the highest traditional, administrative, and socio-political authority in the Efiok Kingdom, vested with the powers of interpreting all Efiok norms, customs, and traditions, waive for our candidate the ceremonial requirement of being inducted to Etuboms Traditional Rulers Council of the Obong Palace, capping in bracket, close and open, so as to enable him participate in the conclave of the Etuboms, and this requirement was waived by the Etuboms Traditional Rulers Council of the Obong Palace at the start of the conclave on the 22nd of May 2023. Accordingly, therefore, and in compliance with the Supreme Court judgment, we embark on a fresh selection process. Unfortunately, however, Etuboms of Abasi, who was duly recommended by the Supreme Court that he could recontest the selection, refused to be part of it, even though he was duly invited through courier service to attend the exercise. In refusing the invitation to appear before the qualified Etuboms for screening and possible selection, we had no option than to screen the only other candidate presented to us by the Western Calabar Traditional Rulers Council, Etubom Dr. Anthony Asuko. We found the said Etubom Anthony Asuko qualified and have since selected and proclaimed him as the new Obong of Calabar. In compliance with the law, we notified the state government and sought permission to conduct his coronation and for his recognition by the Cross River State government. It does appear that His Excellency, the Governor, has rejected our request and has granted explicit recognition to Obong as Obong of Calabar. I want to state here, without any ambiguity, that the Governor's decision is a serious challenge to the Supreme Court, judgment. It is not without. It is not within his power to do so. Let us state here, therefore, most equivocally, that our Etuboms Council, the one recognized by the Supreme Court judgment, and Etubom Anthony Asuko and Obong of Calabar. Supreme Court judgment, recognized by the Supreme Court judgment and the Etuboms against the Obong of Calabar of the Efiok nation and his traditional coronation shall be carried out accordingly. We would like those who may want to know more to know that the selection of an Obong of Efiok land in Efiok land is exclusive. It's exclusively the responsibility of the tradition, which has nothing to do with politics. Conclusion. The Supreme Court said the following at page 40 of the judgment, case number Essien C33/2013, quote, the end result of the foregoing is that this appeal lacks merit and it is hereby dismissed. I affirm the decision of the Court of Appeal, particularly the order made setting aside the selection and proclamation of the first respondent as the Obong elect of the Etuboms company by the Etuboms company of the Palace of the Obong of Calabar. And also order that the Western Calabar Traditional Rulers Council shall conduct another process to select an Etubom from amongst themselves, including the first respondent, who shall be the next Obong of Calabar, in line with the provisions of the Constitution of the Etubom Traditional Council. Palace of Obong of Calabar, January 2002. And in strict compliance with rules of natural justice. Before we round up our submission on this subject matter, let me outline the decisions of the Supreme Court as they are contained in the judgment dated 18 January 2023. 1. The selection and proclamation of Etubom Abasi as the Obong of Calabar on the 31st March 2008 be set aside. 2. That the parties should return to the drawing board. 3. That the selection process be started afresh. 4. That the selection should start on a clean slate. That 2002 Constitution of the Etuboms Traditional Rulers Council be used for the selection. 6. That the following principles be applied. A. Natural justice. B. Fairness. C. Equity. That it is only a Etuboms Rulers Council, Traditional Rulers Council alone that has the power to grant the waiver. Our prayers, as far as we are concerned, the only legitimate and recognized traditional council is the one headed by me as the chairman. However, if His Excellency wishes to reconsider his position in the matter, we suggest that he sets up an independent, unbiased body to handle the situation, or he submits the Supreme Court judgment to a court of competent jurisdiction to interpret the judgment for immediate implementation, as we know that Excellency lacks the power to set aside the Supreme Court judgment. Thank all of you for giving me your ears. You can now ask questions.
Can we give it one?